Welcome to the Conscious Oms Podcast number 3. Should be number 4, but I unfortunately deleted the last one that we worked on about a week ago. But it's just me today with Carson. No Marissa. Unfortunately, Marissa couldn't be here for this. But Carson, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Carson, and today we'll be talking about conformity.
Alright, let's do it, man. Alright, well, for me, conformity has been... It's been a struggle when I was in high school anyways, not so much anymore, but in high school, especially my freshman year, it was like, this new group, this giant group of people, not just like small group, giant group of people, and it was a push for me to try and fit in, just so that, no one would like think I'm weird or think I'm, just an outsider perspective, And it's all, everyone wants to be accepted. It's always a nice thing. So conformity, in terms of that first year of high school, was a struggle. And thank God that I did not conform. I'm glad I didn't conform because conformity really, it hinders your creativity.
Definitely.
If we didn't have conformity, people would not feel this pressure to just do similar things that everyone else has done. We would be finding so many more different channels of certain creative artworks or music or way of living, especially way of living, because we all, at least in the U.S. right now, we all just kind of conform to this idea of, get this nice big house for yourself, with a wife and kids and a dog. That white picket fence, that American dream thing, that's been mainstreamed through us. And a lot of people conform to that. They're like, oh yeah, I want to do that. I want to be normal, right? Normal isn't fun, man. Normal is not fun.
And it's just not always what it's set out to be. I feel like, I don't know if people know, like, what it's really like. I mean, if you have, like, those expectations of yourself, yeah, I want that American dream type deal, then I think what you get is just a lot different. Like, there's so much more better things that you can do, like expand yourself in like a creative way, kind of like Omar was saying, just by like not conforming. And I feel like just off first like glance at conformity and stuff, it really only seems like there's negative things to say about conformity. So I'm almost interested to find if there is any positives with conformity. But I mean, just like negative conformity in my life, on a social aspect, kind of like how Omar touched on, it's just like bad habits. It's just like a social thing to like stay out late and not be productive sometimes. And like as silly as it sounds, surprisingly like a good amount of the teenage population is doing that. And it really doesn't make sense. But I mean, it's also just one of those things that's conformity.
Conformity in terms of the teenage idea, like all teenagers, all they do is like, obviously go to school, if you're in high school, and then they just sleep all day and then they party all night.
Pretty much.
That kind of idea. Yeah, you're right. It's unproductive. If you're following that, it's a limit because first of all, for me personally, I never had an issue with energy, staying awake. That's probably because I get 8 hours of sleep every night. In the teenage years, there's something about staying up late, really late, that is just, it brings back these dark energy feels to me. Like when I wake up in the morning, I feel like crap. Why would you want to just stay up all night? Do nothing or do stupid things for the fact of the matter, just so that you would wake up and feel like crap. Because I love my mornings. I'm a morning person, and I'm a 24/7 person. I mean, I have to live through a whole day, so I'm a 24/7 person. But I like my mornings, like, waking up, having my beautiful smoothie, and looking out into my backyard and seeing all those trees and whatnot. So staying up late for me was not really, I didn't really do that too much. I never really found it that fun. And yeah, you're right. A lot of kids conform to the idea of the fact that, let's just sleep all day, party all night, but that's the point, is that partying or just having fun, doing stupid things anyways, is not productive. It's not something that, doesn't get you anywhere.
And I think, I don't know, the topic is kind of relative. On the other end of the spectrum, I wish I was a morning person. I don't know. I must just live for the night and kind of just. I don't really look at like the small things in life, like just waking up and getting to look at the trees. I mean, that's just me being honest, though. But I mean, other than that, I guess why does late night feel so dark to you?
It's just like my body needs rest, and I'm basically depriving it of that rest. And my body's like, all right, well, if you want to be a dick to me, I'm gonna be a dick to you. You know, you gotta give that, I guess, in a way, respect to your body. Give that respect to the fact that it gives you the ability to do all these creative things whenever you want to do them. You just gotta give it what it needs as well. So that's how I feel at night, late at night, anyways. I mean, every now and then, if I'm working on a project, it'll be fun to stay up for a while. I mean, I usually midnight is when I cut it off, but doing projects late at night, I can get really creative because darkness is at night. Darkness is this like bubble, this egg, where you're forced to only work on a few things because you don't really go outside, especially right now. It's freezing cold, so you're just in your house, in your room, in your office, whatever you're doing, most likely on a computer nowadays, and you're just like, okay, what am I going to work on? At least this is how I think. I'm like, what am I going to work on? And I work on, my photography, videography, drawing, all of those things. Sometimes music if I ever want to get really creative. But all of those things have, for some reason, they've improved, or I do a lot better when it's late at night. Not too late, but late at night. And I'm just sitting there working on it. It's this extra focus that's added on. Yeah, that's why. That's why I feel darkness.
Interesting. I don't know, I almost feel like it could be just like you don't have to think about the rest of your day, and that's kind of nice. But I mean, beside that, I don't know, I'm still kind of troubling myself and wondering, like, what are the positives of conformity? So, like, I mean, if you could touch on that at all, go for it. But I mean, if you can't, I was just gonna kind of try to tie in, like, conformity and religion and just, like, that whole little avenue of things. So, yeah, do you have anything to say about
positives
and religion?
Positives and conformity?
Just overall. Well, positives and conformity or just conformity and religion.
Well,
it's progressed, or
I guess conformity can be a positive thing if you're conforming towards an idea that is positive itself. Like, let's say, like, someone wants to, I don't know, build a nice eco-friendly house. Everyone conforms to the idea of building those, so then everyone is now helping the earth and helping themselves in the process. So, we're a community. We're a community-based species, and so you can't take that away. There's always going to be conformity, no matter what. But I think right now the conformity strives to, like, oh yeah, let's party all night, let's drink all night, let's do drugs and whatnot, have a good time, because we don't know how to have a good time without them. I do. Some, a lot of people don't. A lot of people struggle with that. So when you take away the negatives when it comes to conformity, those kind of negatives, and you restructure that conformity into doing something positive, such as, like, I don't know, doing a drive for homeless people or something positive like that. Just, things that people enjoy seeing, that brings that light back into humanity. That kind of stuff, I wouldn't mind, conforming to that. Is that really considered conformity, though? I mean, is that just the fact that, oh, hey, I like this idea, I want to do it? Because I feel like conformity by, I don't know the exact definition, but how I feel that it's defined as, like, oh, you're doing this because you're being pressured to do it by other people. Yeah. And that pressure is never really good, unless you're being, but, in terms of conformity, being pressured doesn't always seem good.
Definitely. I don't know, I think it's relative, as all things, really. Just especially this, because, I don't know, you brought a good point into it. I mean, conforming can be good. I mean, at the end of the day, just based on, like, the denotation, yes, it still is conforming, although maybe the connotation, like, not as much. But it's definitely interesting that you bring in that aspect of it.
So you wanted to talk about conformity and religion now?
I just thought of it.
I mean, what's your idea on it?
It's almost just interesting looking at just, like, I mean, not, like, only how many problems come out of, like, the differences in religions and, like, I mean, as we talked about before, just like how they're all like the same thing, just like representing different perspectives or aspects of telling the same story, basically. And I think just like it's almost interesting to look at like how many people conform to like different little chapters in religion. I don't know. I feel like there's just like very large groups, but many of them, and that's almost kind of interesting. And I don't know, what really kind of made me think of this was around the 40s and 50s when people would conform to maybe not being part of a certain religion just in fear of things like getting killed or watching your family getting killed or a handful of just bad things. And I feel like in other aspects there's been times where conforming to religion may be at your benefit. I don't know. If you have any ties with like some important king or...
Well, I mean, back in like, I'm going to be wrong on this, but like the 1400s, 1500s, when the church was basically ruling, if you weren't a part of that, you were considered a threat, in a cult or a cult. So I get what you're saying when it comes to like, yeah, conforming was a good thing at then, but looking back at it now, it wasn't really good because obviously the church had too much power, is corrupting the community of people there. So, but go on.
I don't know, it's almost interesting that you bring it up. I mean, like, how do you think that has affected people in the long run, just like the power that the church had at that one point in time and like what they did with it, where they led things? Because, I mean, if they were on one path and they kind of drifted apart due to whether it be greediness or or lack of control and just wanting to control more things to become more manipulative, like, how do you think that has affected religion, if you will?
Affected religion or affected society?
I guess both.
Well, when it comes to religion, it's given much more of a negative aspect towards it, being like, okay, well, if you want to follow us, you have to do this, this, and this, believe in this, this, and this, and you have to get rid of all of these certain ideas. Because that's basically what they were doing back then. When it comes to society, it just slowed progress. Look at the Galileo, when he said, the Earth isn't the center of the universe. I think he said the sun was. But the point is that he brought up a new idea, and it was totally banned. Completely banned by whatever Christianity, I think, is what it was in control at the time. They were like, no, of course not. Earth was because the Bible said it, right? And he's like, I don't think so. So he was banned, or he was thrown away from that religion forever, and he was looked down upon in society. But obviously now we're like, well, he had, he was striving towards this idea. And it was slightly more accurate than the whole Earth being the center of the universe. Obviously, we don't know what the center of the universe is. Is it even possible, kind of thing? Because it's always expanding. But that's, in general, the conformity of religion and religion having a hold on society has just slowed down the progress in that era. But anything in general that tries to control a society is in turn just slowing down progress. Because when you don't when you channel ideas through a small tube, you're not allowing for all of it to go in so much quicker. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
You're making it struggle to come out. That's how I feel. All right, we're gonna end it right here then. All right, we're signing off. Omar and Carson, no Marissa today. See you guys next time, and we will most likely have an extra guest named Tom.